Hi, welcome back to Cap at Home. I'm Miss Van. Today I am doing a series on paper clay. In our video from last Monday, I described how to make this really awesome sculpting material. The full link to last week's video will be available in the comment section of this video at the end of my presentation today. This is the paper clay. I did end up adding about 3 cups of white school glue, glue all, the Elmer's glue all. Any of those things would work. I ended up adding 3 cups to this paper clay recipe just to help it gain a little bit more plasticity. And my total is about 4 pounds, which is what I made with 1 roll of toilet paper. So, among other ingredients. So you'll see the ingredients in the comment section, and I will post the link to that previous video shortly. Today we are going to use this paper clay sculpting medium to make some ornaments or some decorations. This one is completely dry. In a minute I'll show you one I just did, and I'll show you how it'll look when you complete this segment of the project today. So aside from the paper clay, you're going to want some glitter. And then I covered a work area with plastic bags. So I used plastic shopping bags, some masking tape, and some scissors. And the only other thing that you're going to want is this barbecue skewer. And I will show you why you need that in a few moments. But really, we're just going to sculpt some decorations. So bear with me while I move the camera and you can see what I'm doing. Okay, hi. So this is the sort of snowflake shape that I made, and I'll show you how I did that in just a moment. But really the only thing you need the skewer for is just to make sure that there's a hole somewhere in your ornament so that you can easily attach string. I forgot to do that with this one, so I just kind of tied on some thread. But if you want to add ribbon or just anything to make it easy to hang this up when you're done, I suggest making like an actual hole with this stick here. And as you can see, this is very fragile and still kind of like wet. So you're going to want to leave it on this plastic covered surface for about 2 to 3 days so it will fully dry. And this one is a lot thinner than the one that I made, so it probably won't take that full 3 days, but just so you know, it will dry on its own. You just got to give it some time. I do have a little bit of extra glue here so that I can add my glitter if I need it, and then this is just more glitter. So I worked in extra white glue wall, Elmer's glue wall, and this is pretty plastic. You can see it's very sculptable. So I'm really just going to roll out with my hands here some very thin coils, and I'm just going to do one little bit at a time here. And this is kind of a messy project, so I do recommend wearing an apron. I do have one on right now. And don't be afraid if it comes apart, you're just going to keep going. I think it's actually easier to work with a little tiny bit in your hand at a time and then just sort of lay it flat on this surface to dry a little bit. So I'm going to make just kind of a simple snowflake pattern. And I just like to make these kind of little pointy tips on either end. So this is a really fun project, and I'm going to just keep going with this snowflake pattern. So this one is just sort of a simple kind of way to get used to sculpting with this material. Every time you use a new material, it's a good idea to just do a little bit at a time, and that way you can kind of get a feel for it. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to sculpt this dancer, this ballet dancer, and you'll see how versatile this sculpting medium really is. So I'm just adding the little angles to my snowflake over here, and you can see it a little bit better if I move the camera just a little bit again. When you work with the tiny little pieces, you just kind of want to work quickly. And it will come together as you go. And here it's still pretty sticky, so I'm just using this part of my finger, the pad of my index finger and the palm of my hand to get these like really fine coils. It just depends on how wet that particular piece of paper clay is. I'm just adding the little details, and I will add more glitter because I always have to add more glitter. That's the fun thing about making decorating for me, is adding the glitter. I really love this time of year because it seems like just there's glitter everywhere. The snow is glittery, the decorations are glittery, the lights are glittery, and it's just super fun. Alright, so this is pretty much the end of this piece here. This one is just really simple. And then the last part that I'm going to do is just add, I'm going to take a little, I'll make a little round ball here and just sort of flatten it out. And this is just going to add a little bit more structure to the spot where I'm going to put the hole for the ribbon. And it'll just stick. That's the good thing about adding extra glue, is that it's nice and sticky. I would add the glue just as you're getting ready to work with it, so that you can ensure that it's nice and fresh and sticky. So this is going to be where I run the ribbon through, and I'm going to show you that detail along with starting the next project in my next video. So I really hope you enjoyed this project. This session was just short and sweet. Oh, I forgot the glitter. All right, so I have blue glitter. And I'm just going to be very generous with this one. And this one too is going to get glitter. So this material cleans up pretty easily. I'm going to leave the glitter and let it sit for at least 10 or 15 minutes to make sure that it really sticks to the sculpting medium, to the paper clay, and then you can kind of like brush it off lightly. But you really want to make sure that the sculpture has had plenty of time to dry before you move it, so this whole work surface can kind of be stored elsewhere. So that is the end of this section of my Monday series. We'll see you next week for part 3. All right, take it easy and have a good weekend or good week.